Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into the UK housing market. Things seem to be slowing down quite a bit, especially with the autumn budget just around the corner. We've got the latest Rightmove data right here, and our plan is simple. Figure out the real reasons, the core issues behind this stall in momentum.
Yeah, and the headline figures really do show that slowdown starkly. Average asking prices for new sellers, they only went up by 0.3% this month. Now that sounds like an increase, but it's just 11,165 birds, bringing the average to 371,422 towns.
Okay, more 0.3%, but what's the context for that? Is that normal for this time of year?
Well, that's the surprising part. It's really not. The 10-year average for October is a rise of 1.1%, so it's 0.3%. It's pretty weak in comparison, less than a third of what we'd usually expect.
Right, okay, let's unpack this then. A weak monthly rise. What does that actually mean for the bigger picture, say, over the last year nationally?
Nationally, looking year on year, prices are actually down slightly, minus 0.1%. But the really interesting thing is where that drop is coming from.
Ah, so it's not across the board.
Not at all. It's entirely driven by London, which is down 1.4%, and the rest of the south of England, all four southern regions. They're seeing lower average asking prices now than they were this time last year. Everywhere else is sort of holding steady or slightly up.
That's a key point, isn't it? Because the South, especially London, has such high property values. Any slowdown there really pulls down the national average and, I suppose, the national tax take, too.
Exactly right. It has a disproportionate effect. And Colleen Babcock over at Rightmove, she points to two main reasons why things are so sluggish right now. They're kind of linked.
Okay, what are they?
First off, it's basic supply and demand, really. There's just a lot more property on the market. Buyers have got the most choice they've had in about a decade.
Right, so sellers can't just name their price anymore. They have to be more realistic.
Precisely. They've lost that pricing power. They really need to moderate their expectations if they actually want to sell.
Okay, that makes sense. More choice means lower prices, or at least less growth. What's the second factor? You said it was linked.
Yes, the second one is, well, it's more psychological. It's all about the autumn budget. There's a lot of speculation.
Ah, the uncertainty factor.
Exactly. Movers, particularly people looking at more expensive properties, mainly in the South again, they're essentially hitting pause. They're worried.
Worried about what specifically? Just general tax rises.
It seems to be more targeted than that. The fear is the chancellor might look at property, especially higher value property, to raise funds. Things like changes to capital gains tax, maybe, or even talk of wealth taxes or mansion taxes coming back.
So that policy risk, even just the speculation, is enough to make people hold off on multi-million-pound decisions.
Absolutely. It freezes things.
Yeah.
Billions in potential deals just put on ice while people wait and see. And speaking of policy costs.
You're thinking stamp duty.
Yeah, we have to connect this directly back to the stamp duty changes. That's crucial context here. Remember, the relief holiday ended.
Right, the temporary cuts went away.
Yes, so the threshold where you start paying stamp duty, the general one, it dropped back down from £250,000 to £125,000. And for first-time buyers, the zero-rate threshold also fell from £425,000 down to £300,000. That's a big jump in upfront costs for many buyers.
And like we said, that hits hardest in the South, where prices are routinely above those lower thresholds. So more tax burden, more available homes. Sellers are really squeezed.
They really are. It forces them to be super competitive on price.
So if policy, specifically stamp duty, is part of the problem causing this blockage, what's the proposed solution? What are people like Rightmove suggesting?
Well, their suggestion is pretty radical, actually. They're calling on the government to abolish stamp duty altogether in the budget.
Abolish it completely. Wow.
Yes, they argue it's just one of the biggest barriers to movement, stops people moving up the ladder, slows everything down. They do say just raising the thresholds again would help a bit, but yeah, the big call is for full abolition.
Abolishing it entirely. I mean, that would cost the Treasury a huge amount of money, wouldn't it? Is that even politically realistic right now?
Well, that's the debate, isn't it? Rightmove's argument, essentially, is that scrapping it would boost the market so much more transactions, more economic activity, that it would actually pay for itself in other ways, outweighing the direct loss of that tax revenue.
Stimulate the market versus direct tax income. A classic dilemma.
Indeed. So it's a political calculation about priorities.
Okay, so let's try and pull this together for everyone listening. The slowdown we're seeing, especially in the South, it seems to be this mix of lots of properties for sale, making sellers cut prices, and this heavy layer of uncertainty and real costs from stamp duty changes, and crucially, fear about what might be coming in the autumn budget. Hopefully get the key context now.
And maybe just one final thought to leave you with. If just the speculation about future policy can put the brakes on the market this hard, this quickly, what does that really tell us about how much the housing sector relies on or perhaps is distorted by government intervention and tax policy? It really highlights the power of that policy risk.
Something to definitely think about. Okay, we've covered the ground. Now, like you say, all eyes are on the chancellor. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.